Well, hi there, Winning Ways fans, and welcome to another edition of your favorite show, where Paul and I will go through all the racing. But on top of that, we've got quite a lot of important news for you, including a chat to Graham Hawkins in your call, where we'll find out all about Champions Season, how they're going along, the themes, everything about Champions Season you need to know. And Graham will give us the lowdown. But starting off with the worst moment of your weekend. Yeah.
Spurs, yeah, they didn't play well. I thought Harry got a great goal, got us back in it, but they didn't play well. But I would not for the life of me be a lifetime supporter of Burnley. It's the most dour and attractive Route 1 football. Good luck to them. They came away, they won. Shocking defending by us. They won, and Liverpool not winning didn't make it as tragic a weekend as it could have been, you know. Did you watch?
Liverpool, I mean, are disgraceful. They had a chance of really standing on those guys' throats and putting them to bed, but they just looked like they just cantered. I don't think they had a shot on goal.
They did. They controlled the game, Jim. They controlled the possession and all that, but they didn't create many.
Arsenal controlled every game they played in last year.
In the old days.
But never ever scored a goal. Now at least they scored.
But you know, Man United have never seen 3 injuries in the first half like that, and then the fourth player having to stay on because he was injured, Rashford. But they're going to go back and have a look and say, we were given a good run around by Liverpool for large portions of that game, but it came down to 2 chances for me. The first one was the own goal by Matip. The guy has made his run too early, and he's right at the end of the line, so he's offside. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. That's 1-0 to United, because he doesn't interfere with play, but he sees the whole line, and he steps ahead of the line trying to get in. Smalling.
Yeah.
In the last minute, he doesn't have a full go in the box.
He should have dived on that.
That's it. Now those are the hinges on that. But well done, Liverpool. They still have only lost 1 game this year. They're top of the log. United, they're a work in progress. They're doing well, but the injuries will worry them against Palace this week. And then did you watch Chelsea? We didn't get to see the game, but I watched the highlights. So Man City and Chelsea in the Tupperware Cup final.
Why didn't we get to watch it?
They didn't show us 1 game from the Tupperware Cup. Not one. So we get all the FA Cups and all that. They took away the Tupperware Cup, and they took away the Championship games, which would like to have seen them both. But I think Surrey can pack his bags. I feel sorry for him. His team had good tactics against City.
How did the goalkeeper refuse to come off?
That's right. That doesn't happen. You know, I can see what happened. You see, the goalie who was on the bench.
Yeah, he's got
Willie
Cavallero. He's been around forever. He's a penalty saver.
That's it. 3 games.
Yeah.
With Man City in there, 3 games he's won them on penalties. Now he's going to go in there. Yeah. But this guy, 92 million, Kepa, or whatever he is, said, I'm going to stay as Kepa. I'm not coming off. To me, you don't undermine the boss.
He's
Bottom
a
line.
Schlepper, not a
He's
Kepa.
a noch Kepa. So he doesn't come off. And they get beaten penalty. They might have got beaten with the other guy.
No, but you give yourself every chance. That's what a manager's there for. He's there to think for the footballers because they got no idea anyway. And how this guy wouldn't. I've never seen a youngster refuse to. It's all over the headlines.
Yeah, he's put out a Twitter apologising and he respects the
apologising.
But the manager's
gone.
The
boss tells you to get off, you get off.
Manager's gone. You can take it. That's a poison chalice. Yeah. You never want to go into a team that have won the league. Leicester, it's a poison chalice. Claude Poole's gone now. Yeah. You know, they've had Shakespeare, they've had Ranieri.
Shakespeare.
But they've had them. They've had them.
Shakespeare cut Ranieri off at the knees.
But he got fired.
He got what he deserved.
Jamie, he got fired. What about Claude Puel's just got fired now? There was.
When did he get fired?
This weekend. They lost their 6th match. They were doing perfectly. They're out. So Claude Puel's gone now. That's a poison chalice. Chelsea are going to lose their managers. You win the league. And then you take over a team that's won the league, it's a poison chalice. And we've seen it time and time again. But I know you're smiling. Arsenal came away with the win at home.
Very impressive. Very, very impressive.
They're impressive early. They're impressive early.
They're a different side. Liverpool played like they played last year. Around the 18-yard box, they kicked the ball to each other brilliantly, but no incisiveness, no runs into the box, no shots on goal. Liverpool had a chance. They could have.
James, I just want to bring you back to last week, if you don't mind.
That's a long time ago.
The Bulls are the best team. What happened?
I said to you they'd be beaten by the Jaguares.
Jaguares.
I said the Jaguares would beat the Bulls. The Bulls are a shocking travelling team.
You told me they're the best.
But if you want to talk about injustices, okay, you got to me, Super Rugby would fix itself by having Northern Hemisphere refs ref the Southern Hemisphere games. You cannot have a ref who's a Cape Town boy refereeing the Cape Town derby between the Lions and the
I agree.
Whether he was
Whether
right
he's
or
good or
wrong,
wrong,
whatever
yes.
happened in the
It's
game doesn't matter.
yeah.
85 minutes they went, okay? You look at it and you think to yourself,
Yeah, I hear your point.
What's going on?
Don't leave the door
and
open.
it happens
Don't
the
leave
whole
the door
time.
open.
In Australia, you see these Australian refs refereeing Australian, New Zealand games, and you see some of the most diabolical decisions.
Six Nations was good, James.
Six Nations.
They got independent refs.
Yeah.
They were very good.
But that's the way it should be. They had a good Southern Hemisphere ref. But I believe that that rugby, you cannot have a hometown boy refereeing a hometown game.
I agree.
And it just puts too much pressure on him. And what happens is they seem to blow the home side a lot in the first half. It doesn't matter. And then the second half, the away side gets murdered by the hometown boy. And I've seen it before. There were refs in Kings games, all types of games that I saw that just looked like they were dodgy.
Eliminate that, take them out. Don't
Exactly. Dustin Johnson won more WGC events than anyone else, gave Rory a good club.
Yeah, 21 under.
Yeah.
South Africans were miles behind.
So, yeah. And I watched a bit of the Puerto Rican Open.
Okay.
Nice golf course. And our boy Charles Schotzel, he was not far away, but geez, he put on a bit of weight. He looks like he's got a food baby.
Is he a bit of a sloboon?
He certainly put on a bit of weight, Charles. He's got it all going for him. What else was there? There's
nothing much.
Testing for the Grand Prix, all that going ahead, and Williams, as usual, arrived late and put up the fastest time.
All right, let's go look through the follow, Jim. Let's go see if there's any good horses.
I think cricket, you've got to just mention
Fair enough.
one day game was a 20-over game between the Australians and the Indians.
India were woeful.
The Indians
woeful.
had them stone cold in the last over, and he hit 3 long hops over the boundary and won the game by 1 run for them.
And South Africa got rolled.
7 down. Well, South Africa,
They're going backwards.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, let's keep rolling.
Okay, we keep rolling. Let's go and see 3 to follow. Right, well, let's go to the Vaal and go and have a look at a couple on the 21st of February. Start with race 1, and there's a very nice horse. Vercingetorix, son of Vercingetorix, bred by Main Charles. Great bunch of owners. Alec Laird trains at Creation, right on the outside. Let's go pick it up.
Yeah, as you can see under trap 13, there it is. That's Creation. And it gets away fairly well, but it's to itself there on the outside. You can spot it easily. The pace is on, Guantanamo Bay, Union Castle, Free Deal, Captain Kelly. They're all showing good speed getting up there. And this horse is just tacked him behind, learning the game. And I remember I thought Anarchy would win this race. That's in the 2 colours of blue there. But this horse runs a good debut, Jim.
Yeah, he's almost last now. He's on the outside, right on the outside here. He starts moving up, and he really doesn't know much about it. But the pace is on, the speed's on. The front 2, Guantanamo Bay for Dorisham, that ends up winning it, and in the orange colours. And it was a close race between the 2. And the funny thing was that the Fortune's other horse ran second, the outsider of the 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Always
Union
happens.
Castle, yeah.
Always happens this. And the third horse was Anarchy. But you'll see this horse comes into picture now, running on quite well towards the end. And you'll find this horse will go a bit more ground. He's quite a nice horse.
Yeah.
He really does look like he's worth having a look at.
Okay.
We then move on to the second race, and the Wilgerbos-Drift Maritzfontein duo ended up having 2 nice fillies. The imported Master Craftsman filly won it, but the filly that ran third by Dynasty, let's go and have a look at her down the inside.
Yeah, this horse called Steady Way. Boutique looked to be the money horse that ran in the black and gold colours, and that was ridden by Lorena. That ends up winning for Alec Laird. This horse called Boutique. But this horse, Steady Way, is so far out of the race early because there's a lot of pace on it. Takes 2, I think it's Catch a Glimpse, Candevar, they're all showing speed. And this horse with Diego, you can see it in the black with the red cap, is way off the action.
Yeah, it's actually last early on, missed the break about 5 lengths, bred by Wicklow. Those are Price boys. And this really is a nice filly, because for it to run anywhere close from here even is a tremendous run. You see they're going through the 600 metre now. and it's still just starting to make up ground, but it's got a long way to go to get to the front horses, although it's following its stable companion now.
Boutique.
Boutique ends up, but she's had to work a lot, this filly, early on, and I think that she's got great action. She gives a left-hander from Diego there. Very green, pull the stick in the right, and Boutique goes on to win and win readily. But this filly, you follow this filly over a bit of ground.
Yeah,
she could be
left hopelessly.
very, very useful. Very nice run. Well, then we move on to Kenilworth, and one of the most impressive juvenile winners we've seen. There have been articles all over the newspaper about this horse, this Captain L of Vaughan Marshall's. Well, we think you've got to follow him. The way he won this, he looks like a cracking good racehorse. Vaughan finds a good one every year. There's a couple of new owners. I think they've been with him for some time, but they've spent a bit of cash and bought this horse. This is the Captain L out of the Jetmaster mare. What a mating that is, bred by Claverflay. Let's go and pick him up, Captain of Stealth.
Yeah, this is a really smart debut. And away they go. It comes out sideways. Midwinter in the green goes up to put on the speed from Grey Ferrari. And MJ is not going to waste time on this horse, Captain of Stealth. It's in the yellow and on the outside. And he lets it run up the lead. And he realizes this horse has got so much will to get rolling. He lets it go up the front. It goes past Midwinter. And then from then on, James, the rest are really chasing shadows.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the run of Terry's horse that runs second. It's first-timer, was very green, got flat-footed in the straight. You can see it on the outside, never got any position cover. And it looks like it's got chance here, but it was very, very green in the straight. But what Captain of Stealth, he's just cantering along there. Good action horse, changed legs here. Quickened up beautifully under MJ Balafold. Nice to see MJ back, having a bit of fun. You know, he's one of the most likable men in the game, and he was off for a long time.
Global supporter.
Yeah.
He looks both ways in this horse, running towards the finish. And he's asked it to run. It's quick and 6-7 lengths clear of the field in a matter of starts. This is extremely impressive. And he realizes here, there's no one coming near him. They're battling to get into the camera photo. And 150 to go, he says, well, let me have a little butcher on the right and a butcher on the left. And looks there, and he says, you've done your job. What a debut. What a horse, James.
Really nice horse. Vaughan Marshall, he's a top man. Finds them, conditions them. He's won as many guineas as anyone. And this was a very good win. Now, just before we go on, I must make an apology to John Everett, Narrow Creek stud. He's the master there. And if Babyface McGraw keeps giving him a hard time, okay, we're going to get on his case.
Who's Babyface McGraw?
You know McGraw from Cape. He was apparently poor. He got onto poor John Everett's case.
Oh, jeez.
You know Babyface McGraw?
I've got an idea.
Yeah. the king of the Eastern Cape. Well, Headley, leave poor John Everett alone, okay? Headley, leave him alone. Let's move on. We're going to go and find out what where they are now.
Where are they now?
Where are they now?
Hey guys, I started my farrier career with Dave Turner in Summerfeld in 1985. I've had a fantastic ride. I've been all over the world. I went to America and qualified there, which gave me the opportunity to work in Newmarket. I've been with Charlie Appleby since he started training, and I've been so lucky to work on some of the best horses in the world. I'm currently in Dubai for the Dubai International Carnival. I'm here for 3 months each year, and I've done that now for 9 years in a row. And I really enjoyed the opportunity of being around some really, really good horses. And thank you very much for your support.
Derek Popard,
great guy.
There's a legend, this
great guy.
I mean, he is one of the legends from South Africa. And the worst part about him is he is the biggest bloody ringer on a golf course you've ever seen.
Is that right?
Derek. I mean,
he's such a nice guy.
He comes and plays. Thank goodness I get to play with him rather than against him.
Yeah.
But he carries me around the golf course. He loves playing golf.
He's a good lad. I always catch up with him, and you know that's where I met Charlie Appleby through him. And Charlie Appleby's just now gone. Charlie Appleby's gone to #1 trainer in the world.
In the world. Well, that's why we wanted to move on to that and say, wonderful. And you know, you can't be the #1 trainer in the world without being a fantastic trainer. You've got to have a great team behind you, and your farrier blacksmith has got to be one of the most important people in your team. And we've seen that with you know, with Mike the Cock and all the boys that have been involved in this business. You've got to have great farriers, and I'm lucky enough to be involved with a lot of them. But I take my hat off to them. They work so hard. These guys, they're masters of their game.
Top of the tree.
Yeah, Derek's top of the tree. Derek, congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us. Let's go and have a look at the Plum of the Week.
On the outside, away in the woods, feels a little bit of pressure. Argentia's the one to get to. Red L, Illuminate running on towards the inside. Adorable Analia. Still Argentia's by a neck. Red L's now making a big race of it. Adorable Analia tries to get going. Argentia's is digging down. Red L, Illuminate. Red L's going to get them. Illuminate probably second in a photo. Argentia's and Adorable Analia in another thriller.
Well, you had to open your Interbet account to get into that one. 4-1, 9-2. She won her last start very easily. This daughter of Captain L. She's bred by Riverton, Duncan Barry. I'll get that one right.
Yeah,
I know who Riverton is. He produced a pretty good wine too.
And good horses.
Yeah, good horses. Produced a couple of good ones. That one that Dennis trained, that Grade 1 winner, Captain of All. I think
he's had a few.
That, Anyway, we've known him since the Falmar days. Good gracious, Duncan. Well done, Gareth Van Zyl, and you can thank Worry for the ride on that one. But you had to have the Interbet account to get at least 9-2, maybe even 5-1, a touch at the death. We're going to move on and take a break, and we'll be back with current affairs.
Best race time odds, transparency of betting markets, friendly and super efficient staff, the ability to negotiate odds, a full service tote with no limits, which is very important for exotic players, loyalty program, speedy withdrawal of funds, full odds multiple betting, and excellent in-play markets. These are just some of the many reasons that come to mind as to why I believe, as a serious punter, there is no online operator in South Africa that can realistically come close to matching what Interbet has to offer. Put simply, there's no other site like it. And the ability to negotiate odds adds to my fun and enjoyment. Interbet, where the professionals bet.
Welcome to another edition of Current Affairs. We promised you last week that the Gremlins had got in and we would show you the Tommy Hotspur. We're going to start our show talking about that. Then we've got some races out of Cape Town. And we're going to show you a race later on in the program. Basically, we've never seen a horse win from this far back. It's an old race, but never give up when your horse is running. And Jim, the Tommy Hotspur, Michael Azzi, he gets him to win the Judd Pot.
Yeah. Let's go and watch it. Go and see the last 600 of the Tommy Hotspur, which we didn't have last week for the cars. And Michael Azzi, well done. Let's go and see.
Rebels Champ, and towards the back of the field is Tandava. They into the final 400 metres now. Great Sharker tackled by Down to Zero. Riverine towards the outside, Rocky Valley. Then comes Rebels Champ, Cathedral County, Prince of Cahal. They further back, Riverine towards the outside, Down to Zero, Prince of Cahal. Rebels Champ towards the outside is getting into it as well. Down to Zero, Riverine, Prince of Cahal. Rebels Champ got no galloping room. It's Down to Zero in the lead from Prince of Cahal. Down to Zero beat Prince of Cahal. Rebels Champ a luckless third, and then maybe Donny G.
Yeah, well done to Team Azzi. They produced this one to win a good sprint. As I say, the Judd Pots come home for them. Well done to all of them, Jim.
Yeah, well, Tommy Hotspur is named after. He's still alive and well with that.
That's right, I saw
so
photos
nice,
of him.
Nice to see that
Yeah.
he's still happy and well, and that's a credit to the Alexander team and the Hugheses for keeping him. Right, we're going to move on and have a look at Kenilworth. We had 2 feature races. We started with the fillies, which was the Vasco Prix de Cup. Always a nice race just because it's at the end of the season. People are trying to get black type, and so it turned out to be one of my favorite fillies. Ended up winning it. She is so versatile, this filly. She went to Joburg and won a big race up there. I love her. Rosenbloom. Let's go and see her winning the Prix Vasco.
Up the middle, down the inside, we've also got Sugar Girl, who's also starting to kick. Good Time Girl behind that towards the inside. Too Fat to Fly with just on 300 metres left to go. Anime is the one they got to get to. Love to Boogie. Rose in Bloom being let down up the outside, and so too Platinum Class, deepest of all, into the final 200. Anime, Love to Boogie, Rose in Bloom, Platinum Class. It's Rose in Bloom coming at Anime. Anime finding more. Rose in Bloom gets a measure close home. Rose in Bloom from Anime, Platinum Class and Love to Boogie.
Yeah, good filly, Jim. It's a good 1400 to win. And Anime gave it a lot of cheek, the Count Dubois, but this was a good win.
Well, she's now won 5, Rose in Bloom. She's won from the shortest trip up.
Yeah.
And she ran second in this race last year. I thought Kamala produced her at exactly the right time. And, you know, I love Bling Kamala. I think he's a great rider, and I think that he's starting to get it back again. But he's dropped his reins a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. You don't need to drop your reins, Bling. Put your hands on them. And
ex-champion jockey.
He's a fabulous rider, and I'm glad he's getting a chance for Joey Ramsden. So nice for the Finches, and Craig Carey, Ridgemont bred this. He's a nominee, Craig Carey. So she's a give me the green light filly out of a goalkeeper mare, so that's quite interesting. Let's go and have a look at the other feature on the day, which was a sprint, 1,200 metres, and this is the new sprinting sensation, Casimir. Geez, he's good horses. Let's go and watch him win.
Downside, it's Bold Respect from Attenborough, Speed Point and Silicon Valley. Down the inside, we got Sergeant Hardy. Trip to Heaven starts to creep closer. Behind that, we got Casimir. Then it's Chimichurri Run, and towards the inside, we find Rossadair. We're into the final 300. Sergeant Hardy on the inside. Chimichurri Run now starts to get going. Casimir up the outside is also in full cry. They've found across the track. Chimichurri Run. Casimir stakes his claim in the middle. He comes forward, joins Chimichurri Run into the closing stages. Up the outside, Speed Point is flying. Very close. I think Casimir just kept going from Speed Point to behind that Chimichurri Run.
Yeah, Richard Furry seen to advantage here for Justin Snaith. Casimir, he's going to come up for the Mercury. He's not going to go for the Brig Sprint in Joburg. They want to get him to be Sprinter of the Year, and he's a very good horse, Jim.
I think he just gets 6 furlongs. I think he's better over 5, this horse.
Yeah,
he's a very good horse. He's a Captainel out of a Pensalabria mare, bred by Drakenstein, and certainly he's a top racehorse.
Yeah, this was impressive again. He showed guts. They were spread across the track, some good horses. Yeah. Well done to the
thanks
team.
Thanks to Kaya Stables for sponsoring the race. Diadem's always an important race that comes at the end of the season. And we're going to move on and have a look. Shall we look at
the race from yesteryear?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim,
Craig Ramsey sent it.
Craig Ramsey sent it to me from New Zealand, and the race took place years ago. But it just shows, and you'll hear the commentator, how you must never say your horse can not win a race, because I've never seen a horse this far back run so well. Let's go and listen to the American commentator.
Kaleidoscope's its name.
Kaleidoscopo, I think, something like that. All right, let's have a look. We should have it rolling for you any moment. Here we go. Watch this.
They're off in the Brooklyn, and Quick Casablanca and Percussion had good starts, and Ruler on Ice is right there with Bird Run to the inside, and then comes Flashy Sunrise. Fast Falcon goes up in between horses, then a gap of another 2 lengths back to Keep Me Informed, and then the late running 10-year-old Kaleidoscopio at the back of the field as Percussion leads the way into the first turn. Percussion on top by 1.5 lengths. Ruler on Ice kept 3 wide. On the far outside, in between horses is Quick Casablanca, and then Bird Run along the inside. 24 seconds flat for the opening quarter. That's a pretty solid pace for this 1.5 mile distance. Flashy Sunrise is in 5th right now and racing 4 lengths off the lead. A ground-saving run for Keep Me Informed, who's clear of Fast Falcon, and it's a good 10 lengths back to Aaron Grider and Kaleidoscopio, biding their time at the back of the field of 48 2/2 mile. Percussion going up the backstretch in front by 2.5 lengths. A Belmont Stakes winner, Ruler on Ice, is running in 2nd position, and then comes Quick Casablanca in 3rd, just to the inside. Then Bird Run, Keep Me Informed, Flashy Sunrise, they're all across the track. And Fast Falcon's getting closer now. Fast Falcon gaining some ground, 6.5 lengths off the lead, and Kaleidoscopio's even farther behind than he was before. He's way out of the race right now. They've gone 3/4 mile in 1:12 and 4, and now they enter the far turn where the beat goes on for Percussion, who's led every step of the way so far. Ruler on Ice is running in 2nd position. Keep Me Informed is down on the inside, and now grabs 2nd from Ruler on Ice, who's under a ride. Fast Falcon continues steady progress on the far outside. Now 3.5 lengths off the lead. Flashy Sunrise and Bird Runner after that. And way back there, Kaleidoscopio is picking up his stride like he did back in the Breeders' Cup Marathon. He is gaining ground. He's within 12 lengths of the lead. And Percussion has been there every step of the way in the Brooklyn Handicap, and they're into the stretch. And Percussion turns for home with a 2-length lead. Fast Falcon is running in 2nd, and way on the far outside, here comes Kaleidoscopio, and he's gaining ground with each and every stride. He was so far behind, he's not there yet. Percussion's in front, but Kaleidoscopio continues to gain. Percussion, here comes Kaleidoscopio, and he did it from the clouds under Aaron Grider. Kaleidoscopio was 30 lengths back.
Never give up. It's all about, when I looked at that backstretch photograph, I thought, sure, he's been pulled out of the race. Jim, that's amazing.
They needed a Kaleidoscopio to find them.
Yeah, amazing. Really, really. That was years ago.
It was a good race at the Brooklyn Handicap. I think it's a Belmont. It's quite a good race. It's a group race.
Definitely a good race.
It wasn't like the fractions were incredibly fast.
No.
They did 1:12 and a touch for
he just
6 furlongs.
drops out of the race, Jim.
Yeah. Zenyatta was the same type of. Zenyatta won some unbelievable races. Right, we got lots of interesting news about jockeys. Well, there's a jockey that never gave up. What do we got? Well, the big news was Zach Burton won 6 at Charlton on the weekend, but you know, Dougie White's gone. Right? Once Dougie White's gone, then he's got no opposition.
The top jock, what's that, Moreira?
Yeah, Moreira.
Suspended.
Yeah.
So Burton took advantage. He rode some very good horses. He won 6, and James Moreira's got the record of 8.
Yeah.
But there's 3 guys in 6. Burton now, Brett Preble, and Dougie White.
Yeah.
That's incredible to ride so many winners.
Dougie White's in Dubai with Mike the Cock and the boys.
Learning how to train.
Hopefully we catch up with him. Well, you know what, Dougie White's a sharpie, don't worry.
Yeah.
He'll be out there looking for every single angle he can find before he has to start.
Yeah, well, he's gone to the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about jockeys, the Ortiz brothers, they're New York based, but they're riding down a Gulfstream at the moment. In the last week, the 2 of them rode 30 out of the 70 winners.
Wow. That's a hell of a strike
Irad's the top boy. I think he's ridden for Mike the Cock. Mike the Cock knows him. He's ridden 21, including 6 on Monday, Irad. And the brother, the Butti, Jose, he rode 4 on Saturday. Over the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they rode 18 out of the 35 winners, these two guys.
Jeez, more than 50%. That's incredible.
Panamanians.
They're very good. There's been some very good Panamanian jockeys over the years.
Just sitting with America, Battle of Midway was, unfortunately, broke a leg on the training track at
Santa
Anita. They closed the tracks because 2 horses broke legs, and so they wondered if there was a problem. Jerry Hollendorfer trained it. He's a great trainer, Jerry. I mean,
is this the horse, James, that went to stud?
Yeah, he won the Breeders' Cup Mile on the dirt.
That's right, yeah.
And then went to stud at Windstar. And I think China Horse Club has a share in him as well. And he only got 5 mares in foal out of 60 that he covered. They sent him back to Jerry. He's won 3. But talking about Jerry Hollendorfer, he claimed the horse. Now, this is why I love claiming racing. He claimed the filly for $40,000 in a filly's claimer. Took it home, gave it a spell. It just changed a couple of things on it. 21 days later, it won for him. And he's won 11 out of 12 with it, including a group race, from it being a battling claimer. So it just shows you how good trainer
James,
can get
just
on.
while we're on that, I think claiming races should be in South Africa.
It actually would turn around this
turn around.
business,
Owners want to get rid of their horses. They've got hard times. They don't have to wait for a sale.
They just claim them.
They just claim them. And they've got different levels.
Yeah,
better horses and higher claims. So you claim to the value of your horse. It's a great system.
Yeah.
What do they call them? Sellers in the UK?
No, well, a seller is different because a seller, you sell the winner by auction in the winner's box after the race.
No, these you bid
but
before.
we should have claiming sellers. That means that the winner gets sold by auction, and the claimers, you can claim any one of the other horses.
Yeah.
And it means you handicap your horses yourself in the race.
Yes.
So the highest claiming price might be 60,000 Rand. That will carry top weight. 55,000 Rand will carry 58 kilos or whatever. You know,
I remember we had claiming races years ago.
Fantastic, absolutely
Bamboo
fantastic.
Brown bought one for 4,000 Rand.
Yeah.
Won a Group 1 from him. Won a Group 1 for him.
I know. That's the beauty of claimers.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about
let's talk about Winks, Jim.
Winks.
Let's talk about Winks.
My favourite horse.
Now, Winks runs on Saturday. For your big, loyal fans out there, which most people in the world are a great fan of this horse, she runs again in the Chipping Norton, which she's going for her 4th win in it. Now, that's incredible, Jim. She's going for 4th win. And the trainer, Chris Waller, was saying, to win 30 races in a row, you don't have to be the best horse around for the year. You've got to be the best horse around for 4 years.
Yeah.
And he said, she's going into the race in fantastic order. And, you know, when she won her last race the other day, Jim, the runner-up, Happy Clapper, had won 2 Group 1s.
Yeah.
And she destroyed
She just sailed past.
Sailed past.
And she's going further. She's going the mile this time.
That's right, yeah.
And they say she's only going to have 3 more races. I'm not so sure that that's going to happen. I would keep her racing. Anyway, just talking about a horse that's not going to the races is Vizirabad, the champion stayer in Dubai. The grey, the Aga Khan's grey, is not going, which is great news for us, for South Africa and that, because hopefully we're going to have Hermoso Mundo in the race.
Yes.
Sebring, he died. That was
Sebring died. You know, wooden stud. He was 6th in the log at the moment, James. Thrown some very good horses. He was the best more than ready horse at stud in Australia. Now, you know, we've got giving the green light here. Yeah. So, it's very, very sad. And he's only 13, Jim.
Yeah, but unlucky it wouldn't have been. They've lost another 2 stallions that were both pretty good stallions. So, you know, it's just sad they've lost Northern Meteor and Stratum as well.
That's right, yeah.
You know, neither of them were very old. But wouldn't a great bunch of guys at...
Anthony Thompson.
Anthony Thompson's and them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to finish with a story for you, okay?
You've always got good stories.
Yeah, unluckiest jockey in the world, okay? And this guy has got to be the unluckiest. His name, Georges Calderon. Okay?
Georges Calderon.
Yeah, now he rides at Delta Downs, our boy Georges. He's had no wins in 2018. Okay?
Not one?
No. In fact, his last winner was 2013. Okay, Georges. He has a 247 run non-winning run streak. Okay, so that's a long streak.
If you tell me, James, since he hasn't had that many rides,
He's had
in
247 in 6 years.
That haven't won.
Yeah.
But that's over 6 years.
Yeah, he's getting 40 or 50 rides a year.
Okay.
He's obviously a journeyman of some sort, okay?
Yes.
Anyway, he ended up winning on a horse called Wildly Grand at
well
Delta
done
Downs.
to him.
Okay?
Well done.
Yeah, but it doesn't end there.
What happened?
He had the race taken away from him in the steward's room.
What, sloppy riding or something?
No, he, as they say, he lunged in on another horse at the 16th pole and was demoted to 4th. Okay, so Georges remains at 248 winless now. But the worst part about it for Georges is that he rode for the stable and probably would have got the ride the next time that it ran, but it was claimed. Okay,
so
but Del White Senior claimed it, and he doesn't use George as a jockey, so I don't
think many people rush to use George if you look at his track record. Poor old George, eh?
Well, there you go. That's our story from Delta Downs. There's always some fun and games going on.
In America,
George Calderon, remember the name. You always get good odds about him.
Always get good odds.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's about it. We're going to be with Graham Hawkins and Paul will have a chat with him about champion season, which is really most exciting. I was looking at the track on Friday night. The grass looks phenomenal. I mean, it just looks, I've never seen the grass in better shape. So we should have a great champion season. We'll hear all about it with Graham. See you next week.
Welcome to Your Call. As we said at the outset, we're going to have Graham Hawkins here to talk to us about the Vodacom Durban July and, of course, about champion season and about Spurs and about a sale coming up. Graham, thanks very much. Let's talk Spurs first. Get it out of the way. We're both big Spurs supporters. Disappointing.
Very disappointing. But isn't it just so typical of Tottenham?
Yeah.
To get to within to sort of reach, give you that faint glimmer of hope, albeit that realistically I don't think we had any chance of catching both sides. But they were still in the mix, and then you know, they get these results. I knew there was going to be a result. We haven't drawn a fixture yet. When Kane equalised, I said, well, this is going to go one way or the other.
That's right.
It's incredible that Spurs haven't drawn a league match this entire season. So the form book suggested there was another goal to come. And, of course, we were all hoping it would go Spurs' way. Nice to see Kane back. But in truth, I know Poch got a little upset afterwards, but I think there was more frustration.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think it was.
It
was very untypical of him.
So, very much so.
But yeah, we've got used to it. Spurs supporters, we've got used to these kind of setbacks throughout the season.
But, you know, they win. Let me get this right. But Man United last won the league. Rashford was 6. When Liverpool last won the league, his father was 10. When Spurs last won the league, his grandfather was 10. So that puts in this...
And we all had black hair.
Yeah, we were diehards, eh? Yeah. We diehards. We've gone through since the 60s.
I've supported Spurs amazingly since a kid at school. I mean, from the Legends days.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know...
Well, let's just keep winning games and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, look, and obviously I suppose you could argue that the fact that Liverpool and Manchester United drew keeps that flicker alive because we lost 1 point on them instead of potentially 3.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is we've still got to play those teams. And to be honest, I'd be delighted if we held on to third spot.
Me too. It's still pressure.
Which is pressure. Arsenal back into the top 4. Man United are...
Chelsea,
what did you make of that game?
I've never seen 3 injuries in the first half, you know.
Crazy.
As I said to James before the game, I mean before the show, or early in the show, that Smalling went offside when Matip scored a known goal. He's the last one in line. He's got to look across. And then he doesn't dive to get a foot in from Lukaku cross. Liverpool were the better side. They controlled the game.
But they didn't create chances.
Correct. They didn't go into that last third.
Chances. So in the end, I guess a 0-0 draw was a fair reflection of the game. Although Man United had the better opportunities, I thought, to win it.
To win it, yeah. Clear cuts.
But probably...
That's how it goes. Yeah. That's how it goes. Tell me about the sale tomorrow, Shongweni sale.
Yeah, annual Shongweni sale. I believe it's going to be very warm up there tomorrow, so we can expect a really nice day. Obviously, the sale features a lot of the late Chris Gerber's horses and some very, very attractive lots as well.
Yeah.
We saw Dropkick come out and win the Agoli Mile at Turfentine last winter. He's on the sale, and Fireside, who won it.
Yeah.
Gravel on Friday night, he's on the sale, and a whole lot of others. Yeah. It's very sad to be a part of the dissolution of his racing interests, but you know, it was a great tragedy for horse racing, the passing of the great Chris Gerber. And I use the word great advisedly because he was just such a wonderful, wonderful person. Good man, strong supporter of the game, interested in what was going on around him. Stud farm with Mouton's Hook, new stallions that have just come in. It's going to be interesting to see where the future of Mouton's Hook lies, and we all hope, of course, that it will remain a going concern. It's nice to see that Chris's brother has got involved in some horses to keep the legacy going, Johnny. Fantastic, of course, that Rainbow Bridge managed to win the Sun Met, albeit that it would have been a bittersweet day for Colin Gordon, for Eric Sands. I thought Colin spoke superbly well as the racing manager afterwards.
Yeah, he's done a good job. He's a bright man, and he's a good guy too.
He's an industry man. Yeah,
industry man. Yeah,
it's going to be you know, it's never nice selling those horses under those sort of conditions. We all wonder what the future of Rainbow Bridge is going to be, but at this stage, and just talking about champion season, there is a chance he's coming to Durban. But there's also equally a chance that you know, that offers might come through. So even when I spoke to Eric Sands,
is he on the market?
Everything's on the market, Paul.
Yeah,
you know that. Everything's on the market. But having said that, you know, who knows? So when I last spoke to Eric Sands, I don't want to overstate our case, but the chances were that he might well be coming to KZN. But a lot could happen between today and tomorrow.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So, but we'd love to have him here.
Just talking about champion season, because I also want to touch on the Vodacom Durban July. The champion season, are all the regular big trainers coming into town? Does it look the same?
It looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we look forward to welcoming and in keeping with the theme that we saw, Stars of Africa, I thought Ken Trudell has come up with a magnificent theme and a great poem to go with the theme, as he does every year.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the Stars of Africa, you're talking about the equine stars, you're talking about the jockey stars, you're talking about the trainer stars, but you're also talking beyond that, you know.
Yes.
You're actually talking about the stars in the sky, but you're also talking about the celebrity stars, the fashion stars, the fashionistas, etc. So it's an all-embracive event theme this year, which I think we're very excited about, and I think it's going to add tremendously to the whole fashion flavour.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that in a moment when we chat about Vodacom as well, because they get very involved, as they did last year with David Clyley.
Yeah.
And they've got some very, very exciting plans for this year as well. But yes, in terms of the representation from around the country, we're expecting strong support from right around the country, and one would hope that all of the equine stars will be participating in Champion Season 2019. I see newspaper reports and reports coming through on social media this last couple of days that Legal Eagle is coming to KZN.
Yes.
What his racing program will look like is difficult to say at this stage, but certainly the short-term objective will be the Rising Sun Gold Challenge and possibly even the Vodacom Durban July. Of course, with the World Sports Betting Champions Cup being a weight for age race now, completely weight for age, that presents another opportunity at the back end of the season for the horses, for the cream of the crop to race against each other at weight for age terms, as is the case with the Rising Sun Gold Challenge. So I think we're in for a terrific season.
Well, what we've had over the last few months is obviously you have these big races that are aligned with sales. So you've got these big sales races for massive money, which take a lot of good 3-year-olds away from, say, the Derbies, the Guineas, because rightly so, they want to try and win the big money. When you come to KZN, you've got to lock horns. They're all going to lock horns.
They have to lock horns, yes. Yeah, we're looking forward, obviously, to the Daily News and the Will Avington with the Guineas, etc. But there's still a few races to be run, of course, between now and then on the Highveld. Very important features. We've seen the Gauteng Guineas and Phillies Guineas, which was the first leg, respectively, of the Triple Crown, Triple Tiara. Their whole program moved forward a month, which I think is a great thing for us as well for champion season. But we look forward to the SA Classic, the SA Phillies Classic, because those horses qualify for the Vodacom Durban July automatically. If you win the Phillies Classic at Turfentine, you qualify for the Vodacom Durban July. And obviously the case with the Colts as well in the Colts Classic. And
it looks good.
And there's some quality 3-year-olds around.
Quality coming into town.
Mike de Kock is spoiled for choice, I think. You know, he's got Hawam and Socrat, and then, of course, Yvette Bremner throws a pebble into the pond with National Park, which I think has been a fantastic.
Very good.
If I look back so far through 2018/19 this season, she has her training feat in getting him up twice, and winning back home in between. I think that's been a real feather in her cap.
She had a very good boss when she was learning her trade. That's why she's doing so well now, you know.
Would you like to mention his name?
Yes, she worked for me for a couple of years. She's a wonderful lady.
Well,
wonderful.
Maybe you should take over Chelsea.
Yeah, Surrey's not going to stay there. Let's talk about Vodacom Durban July, because people don't realise, well, they all realise what a big show it is, but how early you start in the year to get ready for the first week in July. You guys are running with everything already.
Yes, we are. In fact, we start last year already, prep meetings with the various stakeholders, service providers, etc., and obviously with our sponsors, Vodacom. We've already had 3 or 4 meetings with them. I'm pleased to say the progress is good. Their commitment remains 110%. We met with Michelle van Eyden just the other day again, 3rd or 4th meeting with her already, and she's revealed some of their plans to support the whole fashion drive, because, as you quite rightly said, this has now become a show, it's become an event.
Yes.
It is obviously about the horses and it's about the main race, but equally it's about the whole build-up that starts from the time that the theme for the event is released, which was done on the 15th of February, and we get the young designers. Do you know that from the young designers' perspective, in all of the colleges around the province, particularly here in KZN, the Vodacom Durban July is part of their curriculum. It's actually a subject for the fashion industry. So we look forward to the development of the young designers, and it all comes to 10 of them eventually will make the stage in and around the shows and on the day, from an initial entry of hundreds. It goes through various processes. Vodacom love that whole concept because it's empowering. They have signed on 3 of South Africa's, and I'm not going to mention their names because I'm not sure if they've done their release yet, but we're aware of the information, so I'm not going to jump the gun. But 3 of South Africa's leading contemporary current fashion designers to, in inverted commas, replace David Clowley. Of course, they ran with David Clowley last year. Yeah. We've got a world-class photographer. I think I'm probably doing him an injustice by just referring to him as a photographer from outside the borders of South Africa that is being imported into the country to deal with the various shoots. Because for Vodacom, and obviously for them, it's about social media, it's about driving data, it's about being seen as being an integral part of this extravaganza that happens on the first Saturday of July each year. And I'm happy to say that it looks as if the city and the province are getting back on board with us in a big way. And you know, Paul, we live in very tough times right now. The last thing that companies are looking to do is to extend their sponsorship budgets, to extend, even unfortunately, sad as it is, their charity support, their charitable entity support, etc. But when it comes to the Vodacom Durban July, and we don't take this for granted, which is why every year we plan to the very last detail. We don't take it for granted. We're certainly not blasé about the Vodacom Durban July. We work hard each year to try and strengthen the areas where there are weaknesses. But I'm happy to report to you and to the racing public out there that the interest from a corporate involvement, from a sponsorship perspective, from an activation perspective, is as strong, if not stronger than ever.
That's fantastic.
So it remains an event that clearly many corporates identify as being one they want to be part of, even if it's just to be here on the day.
Well, a couple of questions for you. Table bookings. Now, every year we're full, and it's fantastic.
It's a sellout.
Is it going away the same way?
It's a sellout.
Sellout.
It will be a sellout. It's obviously, there are certain areas that, you know, for example, officially bookings for the Durban View Room only open on the 1st of March, but we will be inundated. There is no question that every facility at Greyville will be chock-a-block, will be full. And my advice to anybody out there who's still thinking about it is to make sure that you get your application for any hospitality in any of our facilities.
Yeah, see the silver room is, you got different options. That looks,
the Silver Ring Lounge is more a corporate venue. It's a 5-star venue. It's 5-star hospitality. And then obviously you've got the whole marquees, the tent town, etc. Last year we moved the stage from where it has been for the last number of years to a more centralized spot in the infield. That worked extremely well. There were a few areas that we're going to tweak in terms of the bars and the activation areas, etc., but it worked generally extremely well. And we provide a show all day long there, and just for your entrance ticket, it doesn't cost you any extra to go there. You can enjoy some of the finest musicians that South Africa have to offer, etc. Yes, it is a party.
Yeah,
it is a show. It's a fashion. It's everything. It is just a massive event. You know, we still get the odd criticism that, oh, not everybody comes here. You know, they're not focused on the racing. Some come there, they don't even see a horse run.
So be it.
That may be so, Paul, but let me tell you this. Our on-course turnover, and I'm talking about our on-course turnover on the day, doesn't back any story that suggests that there is no interest in racing.
People love a wager.
If you, I mean, it's just enormous, the on-course turnover. And obviously, there are people who still like to have a flutter, but at a very low end, and that's fine. We're not asking people to come and stretch their budgets beyond, you know, gambling is not necessarily a part of their everyday psyche. So they come here and they have a bit of fun, they have each-way flutters, they play swingers or whatever it is, stay away from the complicated bets. But the fact is they do like to have a wager. And if you look at the turnovers that are generated by the Vodacom Durban July, whether you're talking about the quartet, the win place, etc., people are having a bet. So the majority of people that come here, even though they're here for a party, they're here for a show, they are participating in the horse racing as well.
That's right.
Our figures show that. And people say, why do you have 12 races? Why do you keep going so long? Because you've got this captive market, and we do more turnover on that 12th race at Greyville on Vodacom Durban July Day than we would do on many, many feature races, you know, throughout the year.
Graham, last point on the matter. We're always putting up full house signs, which is fantastic. Security. Is it a big thing? Do you do a lot of work with security?
It's a continued focus area because you never get it 100% right.
And you work with the local police?
We work with the local police. We have obviously a committee called the SSPC, which in law you have to have. We meet every so often leading up to the event. We have an event security officer, that's Stuart Weston.
Yes.
We work very closely with the police in general and the Berea precinct in particular. We meet with the police. We've got various security companies on board. There are still certain hotspots. We are trying as best as possible to extend our security operation to outside the borders of Greyville, because that is where we are now getting the most negative feedback.
Sure.
And when I say negative, I'm saying constructively negative.
Yeah.
because while we can try our best, and we will continue to do that to look after the people inside the Greyville precinct, and we still have, unfortunately, it is human nature that there are flare-ups, there are arguments, and we try to put those out as quickly as possible, and if necessarily remove offenders. But obviously, everybody leaving Greyville also is I hate to use the word target, but we have to be realistic in this day and age. So we are beefing up the security outside of the Greyville precinct, and we've taken small steps in that regard, because there's a limit to what we can do as Gold Circle. How far beyond the borders of Greyville Racecourse do you actually take responsibility for?
So
and that's where we need the police on site.
Seriously looked at security.
Absolutely. We spend hours and hours and hours. Gate 16 continues to be a source of great frustration for us. I've threatened to put a tank there from the facility across the way and just blast if I do say that with a bit of tongue-in-cheek. But obviously, this is a high-profile event.
Yeah.
And therefore, and you know, when you talk about pickpockets in this day and age, we're not talking about the street children, etc. around. Yeah. We're talking about guys who will buy their 220 Rand ticket, and the price is still the same this year, 220. It hasn't gone up. It's been the same for the last 3 or 4 years. They will buy their ticket. They will come impeccably dressed.
And do their business.
And do their business. And as much as you try and eradicate all of the petty theft which annoys our customers. Yes. I can understand our customers getting very annoyed when their cell phones disappear or the girlfriend's handbag is gone.
You've got to be diligent.
But people also need to take responsibility. And we've put up as many, the signage as possible. You've got to take responsibility as well. Whether it's the Vodacom Durban July or any other function, there are always going to be people who are going to try and turn the day to their advantage through illegal means. And we as South Africans in particular should be wide awake to that situation. Right. So we will do our bit. We obviously ask the people who come to the races on that day and have fun. And it is a wonderful day. It's a cosmopolitan day. When we sing the national anthem, or when the national anthem is sung a few minutes before the start of the Vodacom Durban July, I stand on the track and I look across at the stands, and it is the Rainbow Nation comes together. Yeah. It's sung with zest. It creates that hair-raising moment. It is just a great day to be out. But we are aware that we can always make it better. Security, safety, comfort are our major focus areas.
Lovely.
In terms of accommodating the crowd that we receive on the day.
All right, Graham, thanks very much. At least it lets people know that things are going well. And once again, thanks for your time.
Pleasure, and hopefully we'll get another opportunity to update where we are later on in the season. Thank you,
Thanks
Paul.
very much. Here we go, Graham Hawkins letting us know what's going on and what's going to be a great Vodacom Durban July.